What's going on, everybody? My name is C4. Welcome back to the channel, and today we're here for a new Madden 25 realistic rebuild as voted on by you guys. It's time to help out the Tennessee Titans. Taking a look at this roster, it's an interesting one. I think they have very interesting pillars we could potentially build around in this rebuild on both offense and defense. Offensively, they went and got Tony Pollard in free agency, which was surprising because I think many assumed that Tyjae Spears was going to be, I don't think it's fair to call him Derrick Henry's successor, but clearly a guy that has capabilities to be a starting running back in this league. And Pollard's 28, so he's kind of at that weird spot for a running back where we're definitely going to utilize him, but Tyjae Spears could very well be a long-term option. You got DeAndre Hopkins, you got Tyler Boyd, you got Calvin Ridley, all veteran options, but we still are going to hope and try our best to develop former first-round pick and another name that was brought in to essentially be a successor for A.J. Brown in Treylon Burks. And he seems to be playing a little bit better this year, getting a little more involved in the offense. Well, we got Burks, we got Spears, Okonkwo's on the right side of 25. He's 24 years old, and we're actually going to pop him up here after a very nice training camp and bring up to a 75, one of the more athletic tight ends starting in the NFL. Definitely a piece we can build around. Be interesting to see how much the tight end can kind of get looks in here in this offense because we got a lot of guys to feed at wide receiver. I think Lloyd Cushenberry could be a solid long-term center as they signed him away from the Denver Broncos, but the left-hand side is where we feel good. Skoronski, 76 star dev. Many regarded him as one of the safest prospects in last year's class. Has the ability to play guard and or tackle. It's one of those ones. Does it make more sense to kind of strengthen and keep the left-hand side of the line strong, or does it make more sense to kick Skoronski out to maybe right tackle and have Latham at one side and Skoronski on the other? That will be something that we will consider as we go on in this rebuild because Skoronski played tackle in college, but because of lack of length, they put him inside at guard. And then they got J.C. Latham, an absolute powerhouse at left tackle, a rookie out of Alabama. I think things have been a mixed bag to start his career, but it's one of those positions on the offensive line that doesn't tend to hit the ground running with a super high hit rate. And I also think an argument for Latham is kind of like Skoronski. There are some people that think, does he have the footwork to play tackle, or is he just going to be like a powerhouse mauler guard type? So I think it will work out here in this rebuild for him at tackle, but long-term in real life, we'll wait and see. I think there's definitely a hell of a player in there. I think the rest of the right-hand side of the offensive line clearly needs some work. And the quarterback position, we got Will Levis, who had an eventful offseason. And from a Madden standpoint, not a brutal quarterback to play with in Madden. Good athleticism, 94 throw power, great undeniable, arm talent, 80 deep accuracy, 82 short accuracy. He's pretty good. But I think we're slowly starting to see that he's not the guy here in Tennessee. And I got every suggestion for a Tennessee Titans rebuild. It was to go get another quarterback. So that is going to be our plan. However, Will Levis is going to start this season. And in an ideal situation, he plays well enough that we could trade him at the draft and get some form of draft compensation back. I'm not assuming that we're going to get a second or third round pick or anything like that. But third, fourth, fifth round, somewhere in that range to get some draft assets. But I will say right now, I'm not going to immediately discredit. If Will Levis pops off, goes for 30-some touchdowns, gets a star dev, maybe this turns into a Will Levis rebuild. On the defense for the Titans, why does it feel like every team we rebuild is a 3-4 defense? Front three here, we got Joseph Day, who's a role player. Jeffrey Simmons, one of the most underrated D linemen in the league. How old is he now? 28, 27? So, he still has his prime, and for these rebuilds, it goes at least 5 years, up to 10 years until we make them Super Bowl champions. And if we can get this closer to 5, I expect Jeffrey Simmons to be along for that ride. And they have the big nose tackle at a Texas. Great value pick at, value pick. He got arrested, which is like the Cardinals. You just can't do that when you're going through the draft process. But on tape, he was utterly dominant at Texas at times last year. And he looks pretty damn good for a rookie for the Titans so far, what I've seen. So it'd be nice to have those guys grow and develop together. Look at the rest of the front seven. Harold Landry, I will say for what it's worth, he is one of the best sim pass rushers I've seen. He's consistently playing a lot better in Madden than he does in real life, and he's a real solid edge rusher in real life. We got Ernest Jones, who the Rams decided, we don't need him. Not necessarily a great scheme fit. And I think he is young enough, 24, that we could probably continue to invest our points there in pass coverage. I thought that was a great trade. I think, generally speaking, the aggressive moves the Titans have made on the defensive side of the ball last offseason have made them a very, very tough team to beat. Ernest Jones being one of those acquisitions. Now, you got Murray here, former first-round pick, hasn't really put it together. You have Jamal. What I'm thinking I'm going to do here, we got Quandre Diggs, veteran. We got Amani Hooker and Jamal Adams. I think, honestly, I'm going to play Adams as a sub-linebacker with Ernest Jones. I think that will work. You went out and got L'Jarius Sneed, 92 ups. How is he only a star dev, man? He has been arguably, him and Trent McDuffie, one of the best 1-2 punches in the secondary in the NFL for the Chiefs. I thought it was a smart move. 92 star dev. You got a Wouzier, 85 star. You know, those guys are on the wrong side of 25 for, viewing where their ceiling is going to be, especially come year 5. But I'm not overly worried about it. You got McCreary, 80 overall. He's on the right side of 25, so he's a developmental option. So I do think there is maybe if I was looking at the age of this roster, I'd say it's maybe slightly higher than where I would like it to be in the context of where this team is at for a Super Bowl contender. But overall, I think we have a very competitive roster with some very interesting young pieces. I think if we get a quarterback, be it Will Levis shocks the world somehow here in year 1, or we're aggressive and get one in the 2025 NFL Draft, this team very well may be a right-hand side of the O-line and a quarterback away from being contenders in the AFC. So without further ado, let's get into year 1 of this Madden 25 Tennessee Titans rebuild. Realistic rebuild. So we start the season 1-1, splitting our games with the Bears and the Jets, but we get a breakout scenario on the defensive side of the ball. This is one where, looking at a roster, McCreary would be cool. Amari Hooker would be cool. They're the two of the younger starting DBs. I think also, it is for Hooker. I was going to say, if L'Jarius Sneed, let's go, again, let's go with the easy goal here. No expectations. 2+ combined TFLs, forced fumbles, or PBUs, or sacks, and he will become a superstar dev trade. Damn, we beat the Green Bay Packers, who are usually a very difficult team to beat. One of the best teams in the NFC. And unfortunately, we did not get the breakout for Hooker, but that should still yield 2,500 XP. Usually you get that XP. There we go. So at the midway point of year number 1, we're 4-4, which is maybe slightly better than expected. We're on a 2-game win streak, beat the Patriots, which is a little bit more expected than beating the Detroit Lions. The fact that we got wins over the Lions and Packers, teams from the NFC North do not like seeing the Titans on their record. You look at our numbers offensively and defensively, all of our rankings are pretty bad. Okay, so there's not a lot of positives outside of the win-loss record. Looking at our contracts, we have $79 million of available salary cap and a lot of players that are looking to get paid. I think looking at the state of the roster, definitely want to get young at some of these positions. You don't trade for Ernest Jones to let him walk. So I'm looking at a very reasonable, let's go 5-year, 34.5. We got Ernest Jones locked in for a considerable amount of time. Now, we got Jamal Adams playing that hybrid safety linebacker role. I would like to keep him for a 2-year. So we're going to go 2-year, 17.5. I don't want to overpay because he's 28. Get him till he's 30. Shouldn't face any regression. Now, the logic of us going out and getting a young quarterback, I think there's value in keeping DeAndre Hopkins. I think there's value in keeping, I think we're close, Hopkins, Ridley, and Burks. I think that would be, so I do want to bring back D-Hop, and I do want to bring back Jamal Adams, but on my terms, not theirs. Damn, we'll just keep winning here. Beat the Chargers on a 3-game win streak. And with that momentum, are we going to be able to go in here and get these contracts over the line? All right, so DeAndre Hopkins is penny pinching us a little bit. Jamal Adams. God damn it. Finally, we got Jamal Adams on the 2-year deal. And I think for the second time this season, Amani Hooker's got to have a chance to get up to a superstar dev. And again, we'll try it again with the very easy goal and see if we can Get that 1 key day, that 1 kill death ratio here. 1 for 1. All right, first things first. We beat the Commanders to go to 6-6 on the season. Still kind of in football purgatory. I think those limitations are on the quarterback. And again, what is this skill-based matchmaking lobbies here? Getting owned, man. He just will not get off that star dev. And the end of year 1 for the Tennessee Titans, football purgatory. We were there at midseason. We there at the end of the season, 6-11, and we're not good at anything. And I'm just, it's until we figure it out. That one challenge I never and will never embrace is trying to make a 3-4 defense good. Now, if we had dev trait regression off, I wouldn't care. I would maybe even embrace the challenge, I guess is how I'd phrase it, of trying to get a 3-4 to work. But the fact of the matter is, 3-4s don't work 90% of the time, and they're just going to cannibalize our roster. We have Jeff Simmons on a dev trait. We got Tavondre Sweat on a dev trait. And these guys, just because of how Madden views our scheme, are just going to cannibalize their dev traits if we don't make the change. And I think in storyline, if we're trying to tell the story here for Rebuild the Titans, if Titans have the worst defense in every metric, they are going to change things up. That is what's going to happen. So that is what we're going to do, and we are going to, like we do in most rebuilds, with a 3-4. Might as well actually just do it right now. We are going to hire a 4-3 coach. We got Sammy Rios. We got... Now, I don't think it's surprising that most of these coaches are 3-4s. Not surprised, because it is absolute junk. And we're going to hire Sammy Rios, and we're going to utilize that Bills defense, which is pretty reliable for us. So Will Levis's numbers are not great. 3,500 yards, 21 touchdowns, 15 picks. Not great. Still, I don't think he's not bad enough that a team wouldn't trade to just, maybe a different landing spot, maybe a different quarterback guru in his ear, but trade value for Will Levis is not high. He did not improve his stock whatsoever. Looking at our run game, again, just weird, man, that they went out and got Pollard and Spears. Because, again, in the context of our defense, cannibalizing yourselves, I feel like you don't really want 2 running backs with upside. And they both kind of have that. It's weird, but I get it. In real life, I get it. For our receivers, Calvin really does go over 1,000 yards with 5 touchdowns, 950-5 from D-Hop, 6-3 from Okonkwo, 6-6 from Treylon Burks in the slot. And hey, actually kind of love the fact this Titans playbook, we're going to throw it to the running back at the backfield, be it Pollard or Spears. I think they both have the skill set to do that, so that's pretty cool. Defensively, Ernest Jones, pretty good. Tackle machine, 125 tackles, 4 TFLs. We got 8.5 sacks from Simmons, 5.5 from Landry, 3 from Joseph Day, 2 sacks, 10 TFLs from the rookie Tavondre Sweat, but those are not good numbers. Best for the talent that we have. 3 picks. Hooker had the multiple breakout scenarios, so that makes sense that he had a pretty decent season. Tavondre Sweat, top 5 in Defensive Rookie of the Year voting. Pretty cool. Looking at dev traits, offensively, no one went up or down. J.C. Latham was hidden dev, and he is a star. Defensively is where I'm worried a little bit. Maybe not worried enough, because Jeffrey Simmons goes from superstar up to an X Factor. Ernest Jones goes from star up to a superstar. And the only dev trait regression we face is Quandre Diggs. And, we're letting him walk. Also, with the uncertainty, not going to pick up the 5th-year option for Treylon Burks. Got to earn it. So with that change in defense, here's how we're going to line up. We got Landry, Sweat, Simmons, and Key. And I think, obviously, the morale hits are making the ratings look a little bit worse than what they are. But I think another pass rusher outside of Arden Key, an upgrade over Arden Key, would be pretty nice. The linebacking core, had bodies here. Gibbons, solid. Jones obviously had the breakout. I think Murray, kind of just wait and see. We're going to have Hooker, and we got Adams at safety. That makes sense, honestly. Might make more sense to utilize Jamal Adams at free safety versus having to sign a free safety, a Quandre Diggs replacement. I think the defense will handle that switch pretty well next year. I think we're going to hit the ground running. And for free agency, I'm going to try and get that Arden Key upgrade. Joe Tryon Shoyinka of the Bucks. Bucks have a competitive offer, $26.78 with a dev trait. And maybe come put your hand in the dirt. Maybe that will help you. Oh, all right. All right, so looking at the final mock draft to get an idea of who is going where. We have the 11th pick. Quinn Ewers is going pick 3. Well, we've already done a realistic rebuild with you. Travis Hunter, that's coming. Emory Jones. We are currently mocked to get McMillan from Arizona. Carson Beck is still potentially going to be on the board. We also have another quarterback whose stock is going through the roof right now, and that is Jalen Milroe. But we're going to have our pick of the litter outside of Quinn Ewers at pick 11, and it won't be Ewers or Shedeur Sanders, I'll tell you that. Now, I was thinking about getting cute with this because I feel like our second-round pick at pick 11 in Will Levis could allow us to trade back up. Which, if that's something that we do, that opens up a whole nother avenue. We got Emory Jones at tackle. Like, we can go get a plug-and-play. We saw that mock draft. And I feel like we're going to have options. Abdul Carter would be pretty cool. I got an idea. I got a plan, and this better work. We're going to go Emory Jones first. Right tackle is a big issue for us, and I don't really want to mix and match, J.C. Latham and Skoronski. I think we keep those guys at their spots. We get Emory Jones, 26 in true value. Get him at 11. All that matters is the dev trait, which we get an absolute powerhouse with 94 strength. We're going to pull what the Baltimore Ravens did when they drafted Lamar Jackson. Final pick of the first round to get that fifth-year option. We are going to send to the Philadelphia Eagles to get pick 32 in the first round, knowing they're the quarterback factory. Will Levis, which definitely would be a player that I think Howie Roseman would be very intrigued in. And we're going to send them our second-round pick this year, so they're basically trading down 10 spots. We'll trade our second-round pick next year and a future fourth-round pick to get back up into the first round. And with the 32nd pick of the first round, we're going to go with an athletic specimen, Jalen Milroe, the quarterback out of Alabama, who, if 2 years ago you said he'd be a first-round pick, I would say you're absolutely insane. He can't hit the broadside of the barn. But what we've seen in far as growth and development out of Milroe in this young college season screams to me someone is going to fall in love with the traits. Undeniable arm talent. Maybe the best arm talent in this crop of quarterbacks. Athletically, as athletic as any quarterback. Very similar in terms of a prospect, I think, to Anthony Richardson. Maybe not as, and I don't want to say maybe not. He's for sure not as freaky of an athlete as Anthony Richardson. But I think when we see the flashes of Anthony Richardson, we go, oh my God, if this guy can put it all together, he's a cheat code. And that's not the first time we've said that about a quarterback prospect. And a lot of times, it doesn't work out for those quarterbacks because they don't go in the right landing spot. They don't go with the right coaching. But that potential, that ceiling is always there. And I think you have that with Jalen Milroe. I feel like as a quarterback, as a pocket passer, as someone that will be able to come in and handle an offense, I hope in Madden, he's really good. I think in real life, he's going to need to probably go and maybe do the Jordan Love route of he's probably going to go high, I imagine, and just sit and don't throw him to the wolves. Let him learn. We're kind of seeing that with Malik Willis, kind of, because it's such a small sample size. Malik Willis just didn't work out in Tennessee. Not a great support system. Went to Green Bay. Great support system. Great offensive coach. And Malik Willis looks solid. He looks like a guy, at minimum. There's not gonna be a quarterback controversy between Malik Willis and Jordan Love. But you've seen something. You've seen flashes out of Malik Willis. It makes you think all right, maybe now if this guy gets developed properly, there could be a player there. And all that descriptions applies here to Jalen Milroe. Big-time athlete, 93 throw power. We got the hit in dev, and hopefully he's our franchise quarterback. Fourth round, we got an absolute steal. Siobhan Revell Jr. coming off an ACL tear out of East Carolina, 6'3" with 94 speed, and we get the dev trait. I love that fit, especially because Wuje's not getting any younger, probably at that regression wall, so we got an outside developmental corner successor in place. God bless college kid. We got the top projected kicker. Did not expect him to roll the dev trait. Also, 84 kick power is a little sus. All right, moment of truth. We know we had a very good draft. We got 4 hidden dev players. What are the ratings? That's really what it matters now. And start with the bottom, Borregales, kicker from the U, 76. So his accuracy must be off the charts. 84 kick power, 87 accuracy. Decent awareness, kind of bumping that rating up a little bit, but that's a good get. We got great special teams. Him and Stonehouse long term. I got Jason Marshall out of Florida, 69. We got Rebel, 73 with the dev trait. 72 hidden for Milroe and 75 for Emory Jones Jr. But Milroe, a little bit more of a deep dive. 72 scrambler. Needs to work on the deep ball. Needs to work on awareness. I think they might have dogged him a little bit there on his speed and acceleration. I think he's a little bit more explosive of an athlete, but got a player there. And you know what I like to do when we get a brand new shiny quarterback? We like to make the regular season debut. In week 1, we got a home game against divisional rival Jacksonville Jaguars, and I think that is the perfect opportunity to unleash what should be an absolute game changer for this Titans squad. Alongside a rookie starting right tackle, it's Jalen Milroe season. And you know we're going to have him debut in one of the best throwback jerseys in the NFL. Oilers throwback. Jalen Milroe debut against a bad Jags team. Let's go. Got D-Hop. Third and 10. There you go. When in doubt. Here we go. First completion, wide open. Great scheme to get Treylon Burks, who we need to continue to revive his career here. That would be a great 1-2 punch. Yeah, not much on the ground game here to assist. Both Tony Pollard and Tajay Spears not having the most success. Let's go back to the air. 3rd and 6. And with a quarterback like Jalen Milroe, every pass is also a run opportunity. Can we get a Conquo? A little bit of separation. And there we go. First career touchdown, Jalen Milroe, to one of those young potential pillar pieces on the offense in a Conquo. I think, you know, him and Burks, I like to keep them here long term and develop them into big time starters for us. Ooh, great ball. Go, go, go. Calvin Ridley runs away. I believe that is the other rookie, Benjamin Morrison, who's regarded as the second best corner in that draft class after, well, I mean, depending on how you view Travis Hunter, Will Johnson from Michigan. And he just got took to school by the veteran, Calvin Ridley. Go, 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 go. That's what he does. Oh, it's happening to him! And a Tony Pollard touchdown late gives the Titans a 31-10 victory in the debut of the Jalen Milroe era. Jalen Milroe, 2 touchdowns through the air, 1 on the ground. And you saw winning football in every phase by the Titans here. Great start. Could do a little bit better in the completion percentage, but it's a good starting point. Oh my God. First straight up sim game, we demolish the Raiders 45-10. I was kind of hoping that was going to be like 7 touchdowns, Jalen Milroe, but it's Chidobe Awuzie. 3 tackles, an interception, 1 forced fumble, 2 recoveries. Damn. So week 11, we're on a 2-game win streak. We beat the Chargers and pump the Panthers, where we get a player of the week performance for both Jamal Adams and Jalen Milroe. 4 touchdowns, getting it done with the arm and the legs, which is exactly what you want to see. Let's get a little peek at the dev traits. I believe his dev trait has been unlocked recently, and it's a star. Emory Jones is a star. Rebel Jr. is a star. So nothing better than a star dev. It's early. Don't know the kicker's dev trait yet, but we got some upside there. And I mean, the amount of dev traits, it bodes well for the ceiling of our players. $65 million of salary cap. Want to spend it. We'll likely pick up the 5th-year option there on Skaronski. Redun's at guard. You're not a bad guard. I think you can do worse. So let's see. 2 years, 12. I mean, we'll keep him until he regresses. Just kind of kicks that can down the road. We got a Conquo, who I want here long-term at tight end. So let's see, 5-year, $50 million. I think he has his best football ahead of him. I think Arden Key's replaceable. We got Amani Hooker, who I would actually love back on a 3-year, 24. I bet you could probably 26. We offered him 24.5 roughly. I bet you 26 gets that one over the line. Didn't pick up the 5th-year option on Treylon Burks. Kind of wanted him to come out and prove it. And he's playing well. So, I don't know this. 5-year, 55, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5. We got Roger McCreary. Again, like all these contracts are very reasonable, even enough that I can overpay a little bit. So we'll get him locked in on a 4-year 30. We will come back to the table very confident we'll get Hooker's contract across the line. And really happy with where our roster's at. All right, we actually just got hit with the not interested from Amani Hooker. Okay. I know we talk about it time and time again, but the XP goals. We got 10K in 2 weeks for the first-round pick, Emory Jones, which we'll spend that in a sec. I'll bring him up to an 80. And Jalen Milroe, 6. Look, the game, it's broken, is how much XP he's getting. But no, now that the game is no longer glitched, 6 skill points for Jalen Milroe. We got broke season record for passing touchdowns. We got to see the final stat line here. We got 12,000 XP for 3,500 passing yards, 12,000 XP for 30 passing touchdowns. And, it is what it is. Development in this game is a lot. Jalen Milroe finishes his rookie campaign as an 81 overall. Which, I mean, at the end of the day, holy shit. At the end of the day, the rating itself is not that outrageous. +6 is always crazy to see. But if any rookie quarterback, Jalen Milroe started as a 73. So, if 73, so Drake May's a 74. If Drake May in Madden finished the regular season with the Patriots, 4,600 yards, 38 touchdowns, we would be like in Madden 26. Madden, Drake May's going to be in 80, 81, somewhere in that range, breaking rookie records. So it's reasonable, and I've always seen that. I mean, XP is borderline excessive, but I've seen just as many comments justified in saying, if these players were real life and you're trying to correlate with like how their rating would improve through a Madden cycle, if they were playing at the level they're playing in these Sims, like it makes sense. I feel like at the end of the road, it makes sense. And these are unreal numbers for Jalen Milroe. Did not know the Titans offense had this in them. Nothing too crazy on the rush offense, but 385. I wish it was 3,800. 385 yards, 6 touchdowns there from Milroe. I mean, a lot of rushing touchdowns total. Receiving, Treylon Burks in the slot, 73 catches, 1,200 yards, 13 touchdowns. The resurgence is on 1,100 yards, 7 touchdowns. Really, 1,000 on the dot for DeAndre Hopkins, 7 touchdowns. 7 and 7 for Okonkwo. And just continuing to get pretty good numbers out of the backfield to the running back. This might be a sleeper offense. 200 tacklers in Jones and Jamal Adams. 10.5 sacks from Sweat. 7.5 from Landry. 7 from Arden Key. 5.5 for Simmons. So the sack numbers are up, just not for who you would have expected. Like, I think you flip Simmons and Tavondre Sweat stat line, that'd be what I would expect. But I will take a 370-pound man getting 10.5 sacks. That's pretty terrifying. Love seeing L'Jarius Sneed finish with 5 picks. And Jalen Milroe, wow, top 5 in MVP voting. All right, Callahan, top 5 in Coach of the Year voting. Jalen Milroe, top 5 in Offensive Player of the Year voting. And also, just because of where his career's at in real life, Treylon Burks has turned it around. Clearly, Offensive Rookie of the Year was always going to be Jalen Milroe. We talk about all that because we went 10 and 7 this year with a top 5 offense, and we missed the playoffs. Yep. Shocking Super Bowl winner. Shocking. Looking at our dev traits. Ooh. Okay, the obvious good is Treylon Burks is up to a superstar, and Jalen Milroe, who was a star, but off of his stats and Rookie of the Year campaign, has gone up to a superstar level we could not have imagined. I thought this was going to be a ceiling offense where it'd be tough to get third. And hey, it always can change. You can always have variants. You can always have one-year wonders. But when you start this, like, I will be shocked if we have, like, sometimes you get those dramatic, like, where he hits 30, he went for 40 total touchdowns this year, and then next year he'll have 27. I don't think we're going to have that variance here. However, we have faced regression to Calvin Ridley. We have faced kind of substantial regression for DeAndre Hopkins, which we knew was always a risk when we re-signed him, but we want those veteran safety nets to help our young quarterback. And, you know, I'm fine bumping Treylon Burks now up to that wide receiver 1 role. And I did focus scout wide receivers for this draft because, you know, Ridley and Hopkins they're getting up there. On the defensive side, somehow Jeff Simmons keeps his X factor. Somehow Devondre Sweat does not go up a dev trait, which is very, very surprising. Monty Hooker lost his dev trait, so that makes him a little less enticing to throw the franchise tag on him after he hit us with the I want to go hit free agency. Jerry Sneed up to a superstar, which is cool. Arden Key loses his star dev. So definitely, you know, a couple upgrades to be had on the defensive side of the ball in particular this offseason and or draft. Oh yeah, and the kicker's a superstar dev. So if you're using this draft class, there's a little tidbit that can help you out down the line if you need a kicker bad year 1. Start our offseason, we are going to pick up the 5th-year option for Peter Skoronski. Just purely from a salary cap standpoint and the future and the writing on the wall, I would rather take that $7 million and put it elsewhere. Thank you for your service. Tony Pollard, we've always been a fan of him, even though he was on the Cowboys here on this channel. He's been one of the best Madden running backs the last couple years. It's a little too expensive, and the regression's starting to hit. As I'm going through the roster, Revel here at corner. 71 tackles, decent for a corner. I think we'll keep him at corner, but officially, I think I'm going to view him as a free safety because Awuzie is coming off a great year. And we got one more year of that of Awuzie, L'Jarius Sneed, and McCreary at corner as our 3 corners. Revel will play safety, and then likely Awuzie will be here for 1 more year, and then Revel will take over at corner. Last year we went 0 for 2 on our targets. This year we are right in the mix. Owe at pass rush, Jameson Williams at wide receiver. Someone wants to come to Tennessee. Hey, here we go. We get Jameson Williams, which slightly annoying because I did focus scout wide receivers in the draft, but again, I don't really have Calvin Ridley and DeAndre Hopkins long-term plan. So Jameson Williams, Treylon Burks. Burks always will be our slot guy. Williams is a deep threat. Can still go wide out early in this draft as well and use that intel that we acquired throughout the season through scouting. Looking at our scouting, the work that we got done with the signing of Jameson Williams, I think we can, and I'll show you some scouting too as the reason why. I think we got to pivot towards trying to find that pass rusher. And we got Adrian Kaufman here, scouted out as a first-round talent. We have, at left end, Zachary Barlow, who should be available to us. The power rusher out of Missouri. First-round talent, second-round projection. Got to see where he goes in the mock draft. Ticks a lot of boxes. 6'4", 280, unique body type. But here's why. We scouted. There was an offensive lineman we scouted as well because he had A in the pass block. Cole Day, first, second-round talent. We're looking at that right guard spot. Reduns on a 1-year rental. There could be a replacement right there. But here's why I think you could always make the argument that scouting wide receivers and corners are probably the 2 best, especially if your head scout is specialty in one of those positions. Our head scout is specially at wide receiver because look at the information we've got. We can avoid a bust right away. We have top 5 in true talent. He's going to go in the 2nd round, Michael McNeil. And I would not have looked at this at all and said top 5 talent. There's not one thing distinguishable about him. I can't see. There's nothing. Absolutely nothing. I'm not going to overreach because look at what else we got. We got Cheeks is a value pick, but the more we go down here, we have Silas, who's a first-round talent projected to go 3rd, 4th round. Again, not a lot that would make me say that guy's a guy we need to go out and get, but there is immense value there. He's going to go absolutely in that range, probably closer to 4th round. But look at what we got in terms of value. We got a UDFA here in Montgomery. That's a 1st, 2nd round pick. Jalen Montgomery has elite change of direction. And then as you might have just saw, we have another, look at that, super late round pick, Jaleel Rout. Top 5 talent pick, day 3 projection This one makes a little more sense with the elite acceleration, agility, change of direction. I'm not going to say I regret paying Jameson Williams because both those guys are slots, but we're gonna have a very good draft here. Great scouting. All right, so at pick 18, luckily we are picking at 18 because I did not look to see where that pass rusher we really wanted was expected to go, but he's still on the board. Zachary Barlow, you are a Tennessee Titan out of Missouri. Really looking for a depth trait there, but if not, not the end of the world. I was contemplating maybe kicking Jeffrey Simmons out and having just a 300-pound 4-3 edge rusher, but I do think he'll bounce back, have a more productive season at D tackle. I think this is a pretty good get. Number 9 in true value, getting him at 18. No depth trait, though. That's a bummer. All right, the big bummer is we can't get the guard that we scouted. This is annoying. But I think with that, it's time to pivot. Now, I don't think we mess around. I think we get the top 5 talent wide receiver here, and then we'll get maybe overdraft the UDFA guy. Top 5 true number 5 in true talent. There you go. I mean, Silas. I mean, at this point, it's almost just draft the BPA and look at trades. 22nd in true value, no dev trait. Look at this corner. Blind pick, A catching, A press, B zone, 6'2", with a 40-inch vertical. 72 in true value. Get the dev trait. And went to go pick that last high value pick, and someone else, I guess, did their scouting at wide receiver, and we're sick and tired of us cleaning the board. All right, so looking at it, works out because Silas just being a normal dev, good player, normal dev, means we're not going to have to worry about his dev trait regression because he's not going to play, and I think there's going to be value at potentially moving on from him at some point. 5th round pick, Steven Nelson, 70 with a dev trait. We got 68 and 66, kind of close things out, but route UDFA, was it UDFA or late day 3? 7th round, we'll call it. 76 with a hidden dev. That's outstanding. Unfortunately for Treylon Burks, means he's got to start winning on the outside because I think that is going to be our slot go-to. And then in the 1st round, great pick. Dev trait's annoying, but I think he's coming to a defense where there's going to be plenty of opportunities for him to make plays, maybe play himself to Defensive Rookie of the Year conversation and get up to a star dev. I decided to throw Calvin Ridley up on the trade block. I think the most interesting fit right here, we got Jordan Mason. We do need a running back 2 behind Tajay Spears. We got some decent picks. Ultimately, though, I just want to give Ridley a fresh start and get that salary cap off our... Why did you offer the trade if you can't? I take you? All right, we'll take Peyton Wilson then. And honestly, I mean, it's annoying giving up a 1,000-yard player like Calvin Ridley for whatever Wilson is, a 3rd-round pick. But looking at the roster, just blindly taking that makes a lot of sense. He's an upgrade at right outside linebacker up to a 76 overall. That's good business. And week 9 of your number 3, and we're on pace to be like a slightly better than 500 team, which is, where we're at, a reasonable trajectory. But I think we are better than the 4-3 record show. Defensively, need to step it up just a little bit, but offensively, which is we really want to see. We're playing well. We're playing good football. And with $91 million of available salary cap, we have some tough decisions to make. Awuzie has been playing well. We just have so much depth that's ready to kind of move on in the secondary that I think that money could be better well spent. I do think if we're going to bring back a veteran, Harold Landry could make the most sense on a 1-year, $12 million deal just because we are going to try to target a pass rusher in this upcoming draft. That is where we set our focus scouting. But in case we can't find a home run fit, wherever we end up picking, which is probably going to be in the 20s, at least Landry on a 1-year deal gives us a little bit of cover. And then the backfield, we got Tajay Spears, who he's trying to establish himself as a lead back. So let's give him the opportunity. Sat patiently behind Tony Pollard, and I think he's going to really elevate this. There's just no way that we can't find a way to get Derrick Henry level of production in a Titans offense. I refuse to believe that. So I think Spears could be the guy that unlocks that. The good news at the end of year 3 is Jaleel Rout, the gem, diamond, whatever you want to call it, in the rough wide receiver that we got. Went off multiple times, got multiple goals hit this season, made the Pro Bowl, And we got 5 skill points, which will have him entering his sophomore campaign as an 85 overall. And his dev trait being superstar certainly helps. It's also nice that Jalen Milroe is absolutely wheeling and dealing. But the defense is butt cheeks. We are not going further than 9-8, which we were the 10 seed in the AFC. We're not going anywhere until we get that defense sorted out. And we've already changed and fired one defensive staff. One more year playing like this, we are going to have to think outside the box again, I think. But at the end of the day, this is a Jalen Milroe Titans rebuild. He is the marketing. He is why you clicked on for the most part if you're not a Titans fan. And he's playing well. 4,500 yards, 34 touchdowns. 14 picks may be a little higher than what you'd like to see, but he's a project quarterback. And the fact that we're already seeing this kind of production this early in his career bodes well for what the future is going to be. And we're also getting great scrambling numbers here. I'd like to see Spears, especially after the payday. You really want to see that being 1,000 yards minimum. But we are throwing the football at such a high level that it might be difficult to get that 1,000 yards. It's a new team, a new scheme now that Derrick Henry's no longer here. Jaleel Route, 1,200 yards, 16 touchdowns in the slot for the, again, it's almost fair to say he was a 7th round UDFA projection, but we did the homework, fully scouted him, and we're getting to reap the rewards there. But I mean, everyone's eating. Jameson Williams, who we signed in free agency, 1,200 yards, 7 touchdowns. You'll love to see that. 11-5 from Treylon Burks. 3,000-yard receivers. If that's going to be what takes Tyjae Spears and prevents him from getting 1,000 yards, I think that is a trade-off that I'm more than willing to take. Ernest Jones continues to be a tackle machine. We got 16.5 sacks from Landry. That's why we bring him back on a one-year deal. 7.5 from Simmons, 7 from the rookie Zach Barlow, which is cool. I mean, those are decent numbers too. Like I don't know. I don't know what the missing piece is, especially on this defensive side of the ball. It's a ways away, but still making the MVP shortlist. 2nd year of his NFL career. Very impressive for Jalen Milroe. Jaleel Route wins Offensive Rookie of the Year as expected. Ooh, this is one you would have liked to see. Barlow on that normal dev. 1 off of Defensive Rookie of the Year, which is a great opportunity to get a dev trade increase. Damn it. Wow, never seen that Super Bowl before. Cool. Oh, god damn, look at that. Another +2 for Jaleel Route, which is going to bring him up to an 87 plus boost. And he's a perfect scheme fit as a playmaker. And now you get that little icon right next to his overall. He is a superstar X Factor and might arguably be our best draft pick so far, pound for pound, in Madden 25. Look at the rest of the roster. Jalen Milroe. Ooh. Ooh. Ooh, that's nice. Honestly, full disclosure, if you told me missing playoffs year 3 meant I get a X Factor at wide receiver and Jalen Milroe goes up to an X Factor, I'm making that trade every day. Treylon Burks, superstar. Jameson, I thought maybe even an opportunity for Jameson Williams to go up a dev trade. But very healthy wide receiver room. We're just going to bump Route right up there real quick. Everything else kind of maintains status quo. Offensively, defensively, Barlow does get a dev trait. Wow. That's a very generous role that you don't always get. Outside of that, we got everyone has a dev trait here. And honestly, Harold Landry, this is going to be one where I think he probably went up dev trait and then lost it. Yeah, look, so he went up to superstar because he was the sacks leader in the league. And then he loses his dev trait because he's an old man. Damn it. But elsewhere, overall, Jack Gibbons goes from normal up to a star. And everyone else kind of just holds on to their dev trait in the secondary. A lot of stars, a lot of silver. Hopefully we can improve upon that. First piece of business this offseason, we are absolutely going to pick up the 5th-year option on J.C. Latham, franchise tackle. So going to the offseason, where can we get better as a squad? I think bringing in another running back, like I say, it's going to be a priority, but like in the draft, we can get a power back mid-rounds. Could be nice. Center right guard, probably the only 2 pieces of the O-line, maybe even the only 2 pieces of the offense that 2-3 years down the line, I could see them not being here. So that could be something that goes into play, but I do think we got to show the most love on the defense. Landry's back on a 1-year rental, so our focus scouting was pass rush. Again, we'll double up Barlow from our last class this year. I'm looking to get a Landry successor. Safety, you know, we're going to let Jamal Adams walk. We do have a lot of depth at corner and could kind of mix and match some of the corners around, which we've already done with Roger McCreary. But I do think safety also could be BPA, depending on how the board falls to us. But maybe something there in free agency too. Nothing at guard or center. And on the defensive side, I mean, you got a Lee McNeil there, but we don't really need a D tackle. And yeah, that's it's not the role you're looking for. What about safety? We got Honey Badger. We got Jair Brown. That's not brutal. 27. I don't hate that, but there's zero interest. And, you know, with the bumped up difficulty that we do in the realistic rebuilds, we're going to have to probably severely overpay to bring him in. I think we'll keep our money and look towards the draft. The bummer is the pass rusher looks real good. 6'6", 270 at Notre Dame is likely, you know, going to be out of our range. I don't think we're going to be able to get to that price point. Even though, you know, we didn't make the playoffs, so our pick's where it is. Then I got Timmy Jackson, who looks solid, but the talent, not exactly. You know, we went for the A finesse move. He's 6'3", pretty decent. You know, decent athlete. That's the issue. That's definitely what the ultimate hang-up is there. There's some nice pass rushers into this draft, but I'm not seeing, you know, the other top 5. We have Aiden Bryan out of Texas. But again, like I need to see, if I'm going to trade up for a pass rusher like that, you need to be the complete package. You need to have the athletic traits and the talent, and I'm not 100% seeing it. So then we pivoted to safety, and what looked like the best safety, because he had B in his own coverage. Didn't know he had D-man, but he's a top 5 talent. 5'11", 203. Combine is pretty good, runs a 4.35. So I think we'll probably direct our attention towards landing Hopkins in the first round. Just looking at the last mock draft, he is projected to go at pick 31. And we're picking at 15, so, I mean, hell, we might even be able to try to trade down a little bit, play the board, and see if we can maybe pick up a future second-round pick and move back into, like, the early 20s. And we were able to find a trade partner. We're going to trade back with the Bills. So from 15 to 22, and we're able to pick up a second-round pick next year. And I'm fairly confident we're still going to be able to get that safety at 22. And yes, we are. Now, top 5 picks are sometimes fool's gold as it relates to dev traits. A lot of times, it's a very much pro-ready players tend to get top 5, and pro-ready players don't always mean the highest ceiling. Ergo, dev trait. But for us, clearly needing a day 1 starter, Jamal Adams replacement at strong safety, dev trait or not, he's going to be in a great position to maybe get a dev trait. Looking at defensive rookie of the year, looking at big time production. But we get Hopkins here. The scouting comes through. Number 3 in true value, getting him at 22. And there's a dev trait there, which, given how fast he was, given the speed, the athletic traits, and test numbers at the combine, should have been expected. But what a freaking get. But take a swing on a pass rusher here. Not the biggest fan, but 6'5", 260, B finesse move. Elite acceleration, 3-cone, 20-yard shuttle are pretty good in relation to the class. So for what is essentially a glorified blind pick. Dev trait. Hey, you know what? I'll take that. 121 in true value at 47. Reach. I'll take the dev trait. Now, this is not a perfect day 2 running back, but he has kind of the makings of him. He's 220, almost 230. B, break tackle, buck, carry vision, the carrying. Combine ran a 4.41. We're looking for someone that has a little bit more bulk to complement Tajay Spears. 104, we get him at 79. Ugh. So all in all, you know, is what it is. We got a nice tight end here. Jeremy Landry out of Louisville, 6'6", but he's blocking, you know. You know how to pick these guys. Blocking tight ends that have elite strength. It's kind of a trend. We got the computer kind of followed the rest of the board. They're not my favorite picks. But for the picks that we really like, we got Cross 68 with a dev trait, project player. But look at Hopkins. Full scouting, top 5 true talent, 81 hidden dev. Which, be very shocked if that's not a dev trait we'll be very happy with. That is a day 1 starter. That is a guy that's already higher rating than Jamal Adams was. I was going to say, just out of curiosity, there was better players. So they got what? Okay. Trevor Andrews, 85 running back. What does that even look like? 94 speed, 94 accelerator, 96 agility, 99 juke move. Jesus. Okay, Patriots, congrats on that. And then the pass rusher that we said looked pretty good. Dylan Jenkins, 81. 6'6". Anytime you're, 88 acceleration, 90 power move. What's the dev trait? Just out of curiosity. I mean, we're always going to have to balance that with the safety. But I was close to considering trading up for this player and maybe should have. But out of our bye here in year number 4, week 10, week 11, we are 7-2. You look at the rankings, we are the 3rd most explosive offense, 2nd best passing offense, top 10 defense. It's just so weird to see a Titans team that doesn't run the football well, but it's a Jalen Milroe themed rebuild, and Jalen Milroe is playing out of his mind. I'm not going to be nitpicky. Looking at the salary situation, $197 million, which is good. Got a 5th-year option, stuff like that we're going to pick up. Interesting call on Harold Landry. Again, I think this would be one. Let's see where his production's at the end of the year. If he puts up double-digit sacks again, I almost don't care about the rating and dev trait. He's working in our scheme. But I do think there's still, because that progression is going to be harsh, let's wait and see where he's at season's end. I think we probably get younger than Cushenberry. At center, Peyton Wilson, again, you're not going to pay. He's looking for edge rusher money. Jack Gibbons. He's been a success story here. I don't really necessarily want to overpay. We have so much salary cap. He went up dev trade. We can get him for the remainder of his prime, 28, 29, 30, so we'll keep him in the building. We got L'Jarius Sneed at 30 years old. I feel like we could probably get him locked down here for 3. Let's go 3, and we'll go 7.5, 9.5. 3-year, $51 million for L'Jarius Sneed. Probably will retire a member of the Titans. We got big old Jeff Simmons, another guy. I mean, he has been awesome. I don't know how much longer this rebuild is going to go, but I think there's a chance. Obviously, we haven't had any playoff success. That it could very well go 4 years plus. Let's see if we can lock him in 4 years and ensure that he retires a Tennessee Titan. Now, 2 big-time players here that we also really want to re-sign. We're going to have to overpay. There's no other way to put it. There's no desire for them to stay here. I imagine they want some postseason success. But T'Vondre Sweat has been incredible for a nose tackle. He's put up pass rusher numbers. And then we got Skoronski on the left-hand side of the offensive line. Him and, I really do think everyone on the line, outside of maybe the, Cushenberry and the guard were duns. I really want to keep him in the building. But him and Latham on the left-hand side has been very nice. So let's see if we can get Skoronski on a 5-year. And we'll go 12 and 9.5. 5-year, 108. There we go. A lot of money thrown around, but able to get all our top targets, which is good business. There we go. Took us 4 years. 4 years. And we're putting it all together. Number 2 offense, number 1 defense. For a upgrade of how I got this phenomenal combination, it is still very much a Brian Callahan, Sean McDermott offense and defense that was not yielding these results. I mean, we've always had a pretty good passing offense since Jalen Milroe has been in the building, but we got this ain't your dad's Tennessee Titans. And look at Jalen Milroe, most passing yards in the NFL. First, almost top 5 in passing touchdowns. Cut the interceptions in half, up the completion percentage. Did not see this coming. Also, just putting up big numbers on the ground. And look at that. We're getting not necessarily Derrick Henry yards, but 17 touchdowns. Tajee Spears. Bring a tear to my eyes. It's coming together. We didn't get 3,000-yard receivers this year, unfortunately, but we got 2. Jaleel Rout continues to just be, again, entering the discussion for the pound-for-pound best draft pick we've had so far in any Madden 25 franchise. 92 catches, 1,400 yards, 15 touchdowns, 11 and 7 for Burks on over 100 catches. I mean, even Jameson with 20 yards shy of 1,000. Very respectable season. Defensively, Ernest Jones continues to be a tackle machine. Jeff Simmons, 14 sacks, 9 from Landry, 7 for T'Vondre Sweat, 5.5 from Barlow. Nelson with 4 picks, first year as a starter. 4 for Sneed. Revel made the switch from corner to free safety this year with 2. Would have loved to see our safety here, the beast, have a little bit better production. It's superstar dev. That's, it's not X Factor. When you draft an 80-plus hidden dev player, you always kind of hope for the best. But superstar is not a bad constellation of dev traits. Better than a star. And an absolute robbery that Jalen Milroe did not win NFL MVP. What did Brock Purdy do? Jalen Milroe had, with rushing numbers, 5,200 yards, 44 touchdowns. Brock Purdy had... All right, we'll give him that. We did get 2 award winners as Jalen Milroe wins Quarterback of the Year in the AFC, and Peter Skoronski gets Lineman of the Year. Congrats, fellas. And with our first round bye, we roll against the Bengals, where Callahan, our coach, was the former offensive coordinator. Cincinnati has been very good this year as well. Really the 2 best offenses in the league, and I know that because look at this. Pass yards, Joe Burrow right behind Jalen Milroe. Pass yards had 42 touchdowns, so it's a very prolific offense. Enough so that we'll respect them. That, this is our first playoff run. I know we're newcomers on the block, so let's put our best foot forward here. I just want to win. I'll be honest with you. It's year 4. We had a hell of a season. We have a hell of a roster. Let's get that first playoff victory together. Maybe we go on a run, maybe not, but at least we get that one win. That's progress. It's a sign of progress, and we are able to do it. We got Baltimore in the championship game on the back of L'Jarius Sneed, who had 2 interceptions and a pick 6. I will say from a distance now, it looks like the Niners and Brock Purdy are pretty scary, and you're not going to want to run into them. And we got the Ravens, who are also very well built. 3 seed in the conference. But looking at this gun here, 30-21, we get our first playoff victory, and it wasn't easy. We had to score 16 points in the 4th quarter. That Milroe, a clean game, and Joe Burrow. We got 2 interceptions on Joe Burrow from L'Jarius Sneed, which we saw Milroe with the rushing touchdown. Treylon Burks. We got a Conquo. Some of the old heads here nowadays. Barlow, who we need to step up, especially if we decide not to re-sign Harold Landry. Barlow's got to be the guy. 2 TFLs and a sack is huge. The secondary is playing good. And that's a great win. Nice revenge win for Callahan. Oh, is it really a revenge win, though? Not really, but I mean, kind of is. You always want to get one over on your old team, even if it's, you took a promotion. You want to act like you're better off than what you were when you were there. So on the other side, we got the Niners and Eagles. At least it's not Dallas. Shout out Philly for beating the Dallas Cowboys. So let's see if our run can continue here. Got Baltimore. Pretty Baltimore-y. Almost top 5 offense, and they do it running the football. They got a great defense, which is very on brand for the Baltimore Ravens, so we will auto-upgrade our players, put our best foot forward. I'm showing the utmost respect to every one of our opponents this year by making sure that we have the best team. Even our backups are going to be ready to go. Can the Tennessee Titans, after 3 years of I don't want to say necessarily underperforming, but 3 years of not making the playoffs, we get hot at the right time, and we get a player of the week. Don't know if I won or not, but I'm going to assume we won it. Jalen Milroe with 4 touchdowns. But I still don't know. Did we win? Pretty cool if we did, and we did. It wasn't overly competitive either. 35-21. The Tennessee Titans. Haven't seen something like this since Warren Moon and Jeff Fisher were in town. Outstanding performance by Jalen Milroe, who I think already has maybe established himself as the greatest Titans quarterback of all time, just with this run. But, I mean, to for sure pass the great, that Warren Moon. After that, you had Steve McNair. Steve McNair was awesome. Had some win. Obviously went on that big run as well. I don't know. That's an interesting. That'd be something that I wouldn't be able to answer as a Titan fan. If in this scenario, Jalen Milroe is playing like an MVP and took you to a Super Bowl, I think you'd have to win it. You'd have to at least either do it twice, do it multiple times, or straight up win it. But we're gonna try to win it. We got Philly, which obviously for me personally, if there's ever a team we're gonna lose to the Super Bowl, from an AFC side of things, I can live with it being the Philadelphia Eagles. It's year 4 of a 5-year rebuild. We go at minimum 5 years, so we have win, lose, or draw. Win the Super Bowl, lose the Super Bowl. We will be back for a year 5 to try to turn it into a dynasty. But I'm going to be honest with you, I'd love to get this one banked in early. I love a nice sink your teeth in, full-on 10-year rebuild if it gets to that point, But I feel like this is it. We're I wouldn't necessarily say ahead of schedule, but I did not foresee Jalen Milroe being this good and this scheme being this great of a fit and I think we need to capitalize. This is a window that has opened itself up and presented itself. We have the 12-5 Philadelphia Eagles. When you look at the rank, they're just a solid team. Top 10 defense. Every other rank's kind of, and you know what they got, though? They got A.J. Brown coming back. He wants to get one over on his old team. Jalen Hurts is playing well. Devontae Smith, A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith both went over 1,000 yards. They got Jalen Carter on the defensive side of the ball, who's an absolute monster. But, we're better. We are stronger. Quite literally, look at the stats. They got to beat 1 point on defense. We have a better team overall, a much better offense. Let's go out of nowhere. From non-playoff team 3 years in a row to the 1 seed and a Super Bowl appearance. Let's finish the story. And you guys know the rules by now. As we get the Alabama quarterback face-off here. We have 3 opportunities during this play the moments that we can hop in. But I am very liberal or conservative. Conservative would be, I guess, the way to say it. With hopping in this early in a rebuild. This was year 8. I'd be casting in all 3. The fact that it's year 4, maybe things get a little lopsided or we need that spark. Other than that, I'd love to just see my team straight up be better than the Eagles. And we're led by Jalen Milroe, who I'm not going to lie, I honestly thought on paper when I was like, all right, I want to do this combination, that it was going to be like an utter failure. I was like, all right, Jalen Milroe in this class probably is going to be normal dev. Titans, that's usually a run-heavy team. We're not going to put up big-time passing numbers. But you know what? They probably have, I don't want to say we have look at this, opening drive. We got Ravel with an interception. Jordan Mailata hurt on the play. Tennessee strike first. We have the Bengals offense influence. You can definitely see that on display. With the Joe Burrow pass-heavy offense, getting the ball to Higgins and Jamar Chase. It's a new Tennessee Titans. No longer old-school defense, Mike Vrabel. I mean, look at the way that we are absolutely clapping the Philadelphia Eagles. 35-7. And barring something like the Patriots and Falcons, this one is going to be over. I think it's time to hop in for at least. Yeah, because it's over. Because this is not going to matter. This is more like, let's just throw a touchdown here with what we have built. And what looks to be a Super Bowl champion and coming back for year 5 next year to just make it a dynasty. Jalen Milroe. Can we get this to route? Corner of the end zone. Oh, well. Probably don't want to pick on Cooper DeJean. But I feel like we got a good opportunity here to go for it. This will be my second cash in. I'll cash this one in as second opportunity because I don't think we're going to have to worry about it with 5 minutes to go. Because we're going to score here and put this game out of reach. Jameson Williams in the slot looks like he's going to get matched up against... Why did they change the camera angle? Is that DeJean or a linebacker? Let's do it ourselves. Jalen Milroe gets popped by Quinyon Mitchell. But it does not matter. What a season. Oh my god, dude. We're gonna put him up. We're gonna put 50 on him. No mercy. 50. Oh, what? Just taking knees, showing signs of respect, but out of nowhere, A.J. Brown can't believe it. He left Tennessee thinking, I'm getting that ring in Philly. Nope. Jalen Milroe time. Successful. Check mark. Another rebuild banked realistically. And to finish my point, I was like, all right, we're gonna judge, Jalen Milroe. He's popping off right now. Just had that huge game against Georgia and the Alabama-Georgia game. I'm a fan of those quarterbacks always. I get there's probably going to be a considerable learning curve, but much like Malik Willis, I think if you get Jalen Milroe and you sit him for a little bit, he has traits that if you are worth your weight in developing players, there's a very unique skill set for Jalen Milroe that could be a great player. Could also just be, not. He could get drafted, go to a bad situation, and people are like, well, he can't read the game. He's too slow of a processor. He's an athlete. We've seen that time and time again. That could totally happen. But I thought in this situation that he was not going to have a dev trait, and I thought naively that is like, all right, well, he's not going to be that great of a prospect out the get-go. And we're the Titans, so they're going to run the football, so we're not really going to throw it out a lot for him to develop crazily. I thought firmly, and there's going to happen. There's going to be times that's going to happen. We're going to get a big name quarterback, and that's going to be the marquee player of the rebuild, and it's just not going to work out. I thought that was going to be the case, and boy, oh boy, was I wrong. 5 touchdowns, Super Bowl MVP for Jalen Milroe. We got this freak of nature, pretty much UDFA wide receiver that's transformed the offense. Defensively, 2 sacks from Barlow, second half from Landry, which is likely his final game here. Sack from Gibbons. You know what, though? Because we only got 1 more year left, I'll re-sign Landry. Let's get him go full rebuild. We got money to spend. So let's get everyone to run it back. We got Cushenberry. We'll get Harold Landry for 1 year. 2 years just to get him signed the line. Well, I mean, some of these guys we could still hit the open market, but $107 million. We'll be aggressive on the in free agency in particular. Try to shore up everything on this roster to repeat as Super Bowl champions next year. Dev traits and kind of the state of the roster as we go into the offseason. We did unfortunately lose the superstar on Treylon Burks, but that is still the best wide receiving core in the AFC, I would say at least. Milroe, 99. It's not really a 99. We had a gigantic +5 boost. Spears, 17 touchdowns. But you look at it, we definitely need a right guard. So honestly, I might just even punt to any lineman. If there's a tackle, center, best lineman available, if there's an 80-something, 90-something, we might just throw money on him. Enough money to be like, hey, come play guard. I'll pay a little extra for a little position switch. Or maybe we pivot and look at the draft if that's not available. On the defensive side, we're going to need a linebacker to kind of short things up. Lost the superstar dev on Ernest Jones, which, stings a little bit. Gained a superstar dev on Nelson, the nickel corner, which is surprising that he gets it. But, kind of just to shore up the roster, an outside linebacker and a guard, and we're laughing. Well, we got our interior lineman. Cooper Beebe played everywhere on the offensive line for Kansas State. Listed as a center, but if we can get him, we will move him to guard, and we're putting easily the best bid in. I think looking elsewhere, not really the market you'd love to see for a linebacker. So I think that's just where we'll pivot to the draft. We will draft the best off-ball linebacker that we can find. Let's ensure that we can get Beebe, which would be a gigantic get for the program, which it will. Let's look here. He's an 87 overall. That might even go up a point if we move him to guard. But let's just see. We move him to right guard, which is where he's going to be starting for us. Goes from 87 to a 88. Let's go. So then on our board here, we need a linebacker. So what I did was I scouted every linebacker that had somewhat decent coverage. And this is what we got. We got Dom Bruce, who will be in our range. First, second round talent. First, second rounder. A pursuit, B tackle, A zone coverage. 5'11", 228. E lead in change of direction and speed. Pretty good. Pretty much what you want. We have 2 middle linebackers scouted. I hate that, like, the first guys usually have that. Ooh. So we got Caldwell, A zone, B. The pursuit's a little low, but look at that, man. 4.47 elite speed. Nothing else is really standing out. Or we have the value is Tony Stewart here at Arkansas. First round talent. A zone, B tackle, B block set, C pursuit, 6'2". That's our guy. So with the 32nd pick of the first round, we are going to select linebacker out of Arkansas, Tony Stewart. Let's see it. Be a stud. Be a freak. Continue just the outstanding draft that we've been able to have. Looks like an outstanding young man. Strong character. Pig suey. Right, is that what they say? Come on, what do we got here? He is number 6 in true value. Getting him at 32. Hidden dev. Let's go. Oh, wow. We have the 3rd pick of this second round. What did we do to make that trade? Oh, the first round pick last year that we trade. That is awesome. Because we could just draft another linebacker. We just double up. Make sure one of these guys is a hit. I think we do it. And we completely overhaul 32 in true value at 35. Also, another great swing at something gold or red for a depth trade. So how does the Super Bowl team go and get better? Well, kind of let the computer finish out my board here. We got big time speed, Eric Hurst. I love seeing that. You know my type. I kind of have a type. Watch enough of my rebuilds. You know what I look for. He got some good speed, but look at that, man. 74 hidden dev for Caldwell, 76 hidden dev for Stewart. One of them's got to be better than a star. Gotta be. Had to also show this. This is officially the highest rated player I've seen non-punter. We drafted an 87 overall punter in our Vikings franchise. I've never seen an outfield player. I've seen 86s, 87. Nigel Ramsey out of Oregon. 6 feet tall, 209. 98 speed, 95 acceleration, 96 agility, 86 man, 86 press, 80 zone, 87 jump. Like, literally the only complaint you'd have over him is that he doesn't have, like, his jumping might not line up with how freakishly athletic he is everywhere. But my God, that is insane. All right, here's our squad. Year 5, running it back to try and do the double and make a little dynasty going on here. Jalen Milroe, straight up 94 overall. The centerpiece to this rebuild. And again, we glazed him last year as Super Bowl MVP. You know the story. It's just, could not have seen this coming. And maximum development, he's a beast. Also got a route here on the offense. Fully scouted, absolute gem, diamond in the rough. And he is coming to be, I don't even know who you compare him to. Who's a 6'7", like an Antonio Brown, probably, type. You know what? He's earned the C on his chest. He's earned it. Rest of the offense, Spears is coming off a 17 touchdown season. You got Treylon Burks, who many fans assumed kind of a bust. He's turned his career around as you know, got into a 1,000-yard player. Jameson Williams gives the offense that deep threat ability, the offensive line. Latham, Skoronski, Cushenberry, Beebe, and Emory Jones. So outside of Beebe, that is a homegrown offensive line dominant. Okonkwo has been solid, been serviceable. Top 10 tight end since he's been here. Defensively, got the big dogs, Landry, Sweat, and Simmons. Barlow's come on nicely. Stewart, we used our coachability to unveil depth chart just to star, so it's a little bit of a wet fart. That's why he doubled up on Caldwell, I guess, you know, kind of long term, if you will. Linebacker core is pretty awesome. Hopkins, 85 superstar from last year. Looking to make a bigger impact. Revel has been, you know, obviously a member of that very first draft class. Talented DB out of East Carolina. Has, you know, showed off that versatility here, playing and starting at corner and safety. You get Ladarius Sneed, Roger McCreary, and Nelson at corner. 3 deep there. Obviously, we drafted Borealgis, the superstar dev kicker from year 1. And you got Stone. So, I mean, we arguably have the best special teams in the league, the best defense in the league, and the best offense in the league as we look to repeat as Super Bowl champions here in the 5th and final year of our Madden 25 Tennessee Titan realistic rebuild. And to close out year 5, we are still very good. Maybe defense slipped up a little bit, but offensively, Jalen Milroe did not regress. We go 13-4 on the season, our 2nd straight AFC South title, our 2nd straight 1 seed. Again, first 3 years, nothing. We didn't win a division. We didn't make the playoffs. Year 4 and year 5, this team is peak at the right time. We get a win over, I mean, look, there's a couple big dogs here. Baltimore went 13-4. Kansas City went 12-5. But our offense has been able to be special. I would love to see, no, maybe not with Milroe, or maybe not with Mahomes having 54 touchdowns. I say it would be kind of cool to see if we can get Milroe an MVP. Jalen Milroe, 4,700 yards, 44. I mean, he might, though, with the rushing touchdowns. 44-9. You know, his rushing touchdowns went down. Spears, under 1,000 yards is what it is, especially when you throw the football so much. But the touchdowns are awesome. 14 touchdowns for him. On the receiving end, Route, 101 catches, 1,500 yards, 21 touchdowns. 101 catches, 1,100 yards, 7 touchdowns for Treylon Burks. Almost 9-6 from Williams, 7-9 for Okonkwo. And ladies and gentlemen, let's remind this for future rebuilds. If we ever get a stinky offense, Tennessee's might be the best we've seen so far. Defensively, Ernest Jones over 100 tackles, 3 picks, 6 TFLs, 11 sacks from Harold Landry, 10 from Devondre Sweat, 9 from Simmons, 7.5 from Barlow, and combine that with the TFLs, easily the best production we've had out of our defense. And pass rush with Jerry Sneed leads the team with 4 picks, but everyone kind of ate in that secondary. Looking at the yearly awards, MVP goes to Mahomes. Damn it. Milroe down there at number 5. Did we get Coach of the Year? Yeah, we did. Hey, there you go. That's cool. Rest of the awards here. Come on, let's get something. There we go. Jaleel Rout, Wide Receiver of the Year. Glad that he's able to finally get some hardware. But maybe a little light on the individual awards. Career stats of what we've been able to accomplish in this rebuild. Jalen Milroe through 4 seasons. 18,000 yards, 154 touchdowns, 41 picks, also with 1,600 yards and 21 rushing touchdowns. He has a Super Bowl MVP, a Super Bowl ring. I think is well on his way, trajectory-wise, to becoming a Hall of Famer. Tajay Spears, 3,300 yards, 51 touchdowns. And again, he didn't start for the first 2 years because had Tony Pollard ahead of him, so that's really good production. Touchdowns obviously took off like a rocket when he became our starter. Treylon Burks has turned his career around, 457 catches, almost 6,000 yards and 39 touchdowns. 5,535 for James Mullins, obviously splitting time with us and Detroit, doing most of that with Detroit. 4,200 yards, 34 touchdowns for Okonkwo. And in 3 seasons, Jaleel Rout, 4,200 yards, 52 touchdowns. Hall of Fame numbers. He is on a Hall of Fame pace. Absolutely ridiculous. I'll tell you right now, I'm saving this rebuild. This rebuild's not... Sometimes you get to delete them because you can only have so many. This would be one that if we ever do something where we revisit, this is one we're coming back to because we got some very special players. Ernest Jones leads all-time tackles. Got Steen up there. As far as homegrown, it is Harold Landry with just under 600 total tackles. He has 117 TFLs, 91 career sacks, 71 sacks for Simmons, 31 for Devondre Sweat, who, again, very surprising player. Nose tackle, but he was some seasons our best pass rusher, which is absolutely wild. 27 picks for Snead, 11 from McCreary, 10 from Ernest Jones, 6 from Steven Nelson. But overall, man, very, very good rebuild. And, kick our feet up. Earn this right to rest and relax as we have a nice little rivalry game here in the first round, the divisional round. 13-4 Titans, 12-5 Indianapolis Colts. Look at the rankings. Colts have a number 2 rushing offense, pretty good rushing defense, but to a man, and we'll do this. I'm not even going to upgrade my players. I think this is an easy one. They don't move the football on us. We run the score up. That's exactly how you handle business right there. Stress-free. 31-24. The 1 seed does not pull a cowboy and choke as Jalen Milroe plays pretty good football there. 2 touchdowns, no picks, almost 300 yards. Had a rushing touchdown. Spears did the thing. Route with over 100 yards. We got on the defense side, Ernest Jones, 2 TFLs and a sack. A sack for Barlow. And we're moving on. We're in the champion. It's our rematch. The 1 seed Titan, 2 seed Baltimore Ravens. For this one, I will not be overconfident. Let's auto-spend here real quick. All of our guys, Jalen Milroe going up to a 97 overall. Treylon Burks breaking into that 90 threshold. And we get the 13-4 Ravens. Always a tough assignment, man. If you're not seeing the Chiefs, you don't really want to see the Ravens. And again, did we win? I don't know. I like seeing that the Eagles beat the Cowboys on the other side. Do we meet the Eagles in a rematch? Damn. 35-17. How? Why? You know, they got 3 touchdowns there by Sims, so the rushing game was kind of running all over us. Wasn't no lack of effort from Jaleel Rout. 9 catches, 172 yards, and a touchdown. We got Sinot there. Oh, wow. Yeah, well, they ran the football. They played old school better than us. They got the only turnover of the game. They got all the pass rush. Kept our defense off the sheet. It's a bummer. But luckily, we did the legwork last year. 2 dominant seasons to close it out. Would have been nice to repeat as Super Bowl champion, but at the end of the day, we built this team into contender. Took a team that is rudderless right now, I think, when you look at the Tennessee Titans. Let's be honest. If you're not a Titan fan, you probably don't know who their coach is. They go Callahan. And you go Callahan Auto Parts, Tommy Boy. You know? Bill Callahan, the guy that was like the interim coach for the Raiders that went to the Super Bowl. Aren't they related? Like, this is his son or something? Could be wrong there. But we took them from, let's be honest, Tennessee also, they're one of the most forgettable teams in the NFL. And what we did was make them memorable. Make them legendary. Take Jalen Milroe and do the damn thing and get them a Super Bowl crown. And this one was suggested by you guys. This combination, C4, Tennessee with Milroe. We did it. It worked. So with that being said, please let me know in the comment section below what other team and or prospects we should merge together and try to make a beautiful rebuild with. I'm open to any and all suggestions. Still plenty of good players. If they're players that aren't in 2025, like you got some of the most exciting players in college football right now aren't going to be draft eligible. I can still make it work. I can still make it happen. You know, you got Arch Manning. You got Williams, right? The wide receiver from Alabama, the freshman that's absolutely insane. Ohio State has Jeremiah Smith, absolutely insane. Tennessee's quarterback, insane. So there's some other fun players. Don't have to be necessarily exclusive to the 2025 NFL draft class. But let me know in the comment section below. If it is your first time stopping by, don't be afraid to hit that subscribe button. We're getting very close to 175,000 subscribers. We're under 1,000 away. So that'd be a great milestone to hit. All I ask for in turn is hit that little like button and leave a comment. Helps out the channel, helps out the video with the YouTube algorithm, and pushes it to people that aren't subscribed to my content. And let's share the love, and let's kind of, push the videos out there and say that there's some pretty cool stuff going on over here on this channel. Thank you very much. Year 10 here on YouTube. Thank you very much for the support. Until next time, it's your boy C4 saying peace out, love ya. Have a good one.